We are live. Okay. Got it.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know if anybody's here yet, but I think there were some people that wanted us to yell at them if we started the live. I figure that they will know from like the tweets, but it's fine. So welcome to the Whiners Book Club for November. We are on my channel. I am Rachel. This is Let Me in the Library. I think you know that because you're on my channel. And we are going to be discussing Legendborn by Tracy Deonn today. So we are joined by two special guests, and I think we'll just go around and have everybody introduce themselves and talk about their channel and anything else that they want to talk about. Bree, I think you're next in line.
Y'all looking at me, I'm looking at y'all. What's up? So I'm over here bending over because this is a lean back and I'm way back there, so I don't want to be way back there. Anyhow, my name is Bree. I have the channel called Locked Booktition. Why can't I say my own name? Let's see, anything about my channel. My channel, I like to think, is a little bit of everything. However, next year's and future years, because I've only been on BookTube for over a year, I felt pressured to do a lot of, or read a lot of books that are like in the BookTube atmosphere. And I'm scaling back like a lot. So next year would be primarily about horror, thriller, and mysteries, because that's where I live. That's where I take up shop. It's been a little bit too much fantasy this year. I don't live there. I do not live there. So that's pretty much what's going on my channel. I also have a mental health emphasis because I'm a therapist. So I like to talk about Black mental health and historical trauma. So that's about my channel.
I am Amanda from Ginger Snapped Reads. I'm like a romance reader mostly, but I do everything. I like weird fiction too, and thrillers. So, yeah.
You want to talk about the Disney Channel Games readathon?
Oh yeah. We're doing a Disney Channel Games readathon in December. It starts the 5th. So join Team Red if you haven't already. It's super fun. It's based on the games. It's like a 3-day thing for 2 weeks, and it's super fun. So.
Yes.
Okay, hi. I'm Darian from Darian Reads. I mostly read YA fantasy and contemporary, but I also will basically read anything except for horror because I get scared. So, but yeah.
Lois?
Okay, is it me?
Yes.
Hey guys, my name is Lois. My channel is Lochan Reads. I primarily do book reviews. I might do the occasional tag video, the occasional wrap-up video, and those sorts of things. But I try to focus on book reviews. And like everyone said, I read everything. I don't really have a preferred genre. If I had to pick one, it would probably be contemporary. But yeah, I'll read anything, and really looking forward to discuss this book with you girls.
Great. We have a couple of comments, so let's see.
I see nothing.
Oh, Danny. And Sue, hello. And also Casey is here. Oh yeah, okay. I know there are some people who have not read it yet, and there are also some people who were excited about this live because they really like this book. So before we actually talk about what the book is about, does everyone want to share their star ratings or what they thought of the book in general, if you liked it or you didn't like it? Let's start with Lois and go backwards.
Ooh, okay.
Start with me. I thought it would be a good idea to start with a positive. No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I gave it 3.5 stars.
Okay. Darian?
I gave it 5 stars.
I saw on your Goodreads.
Let me preface this by saying I have no idea about anything to do with the Arthurian legend. So it's kind of hard for me to understand what was happening because I don't have any idea what the King Arthur legend is. But I gave it like a 3.5.
Okay.
I live in Arthurville. I've watched every episode of Merlin and several books about King Arthur, so I was like, come with it. So I really thought it was I just really love this retelling. It reminded me similar to Cinderella's Dead by Kaylin Barron, like how different it was from the original telling. So I really appreciated that, and I gave it 5 wonderful stars.
I just finished the book about 10 minutes ago, or 15 minutes ago, something like that. So I guess these are like my initial thoughts, and I may change my rating eventually, but I feel like it's about a 4.5 star for me. I also watched Merlin, every single episode. It was great. And I feel like I just really enjoyed Tracy Deonn's writing, especially because I think if you had just laid out these plot points and you put it in a different author's hands, they may not have executed it as well, but I thought this was really, really well done. So let's do a non-spoilery summary of what Legendborn is first, and then we can kind of start talking about things in particular, like characters, things that you really liked, things that you thought could have been done better, stuff like that. Rachel is here. Hello. Okay, hold on, wait. Cinderella's Dead for how original it was and how it added to the fairy tale. So I haven't read Cinderella's Dead yet. I do want to, but I feel like by the time Cinderella's Dead came out and people started reading it, I kept hearing a lot of people say that they didn't like it for some reason. I don't really remember why, but I'm still interested in picking it up.
Yeah, I don't even remember the hype. My best friend is a librarian, so I go to the library and they go here and I go home. Like I didn't know anything outside of that.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. We'll just talk about non-spoilery first, and then we'll let you know we're getting into spoilery territory, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what the book was about. Does anybody want to summarize? Particular. Oh, I also mentioned.
I don't mind.
So, sorry, real quick before we do that, we have a game that we do on the Whiners show, in which the host, which this time is me, will have 3 words, and these are secret words that I hold on to. And if anybody in the chat or in our live says the words, then we all have to take a drink. So once the word is said, it becomes null and void. But we have 3 words throughout the entire live. So guess the word if you want, or just chill with us. It's fine. Rachel, don't listen to it. I guess this is about Cinderella's Dead, so I'm still gonna try to read it. I will. So does anybody want to summarize the book?
That Lois said, right?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Sure, go ahead.
So, in a nutshell, it's about a college student called Bree Matthews. And she has always had these special abilities, but she's never really understood them or the full extent of her power. So she goes to college, she enrolls in an early college program with her friend Alice, and there she gets involved with this secret society and she starts to learn more about her powers and the full extent of what she can do.
Yeah, I would add
that's a very safe summary.
I think so, yeah. I would add on to that a big part of this book is that Bree, the main character, is coming out of grief because she just lost her mother, which happens at the very beginning of the book. So she has just lost her mother to a car accident that she was in, and her mother didn't survive. But she kind of flees into this program as an escape, even though her mother didn't want her to go to this program. And there is where she learns about that secret society, which is based in Arthurian legend, which is why we were talking about Merlin and stuff like that. And then she meets Nick, Darian. Okay, all right, wait. I have a question. So, because Bree, earlier on, you Instagram messaged me something about how like Cell is trash.
Yeah.
Do you still think he's trash?
No.
Okay. Or in the book you were, because I was like, he is kind of trash, and then I got a little further and I was like, Oh,
Yeah, I was like,
I was
he's
rooting for him the
garbage.
entire time.
Yeah.
The entire time?
Yeah.
No,
I
I
was
didn't know. He had moments. He had moments of trashness. He really did.
Yeah.
And then he pulled it together. But I was like, oh my God. So I speak another language, Ukrainian. And usually I'm like cursing in Ukrainian when I'm reading books. So I was like, smitya, which is like garbage in Ukrainian. So I was just like texting my friend. I was like, this is trash. Like, I was so bad. Yeah.
he was a trash man for like a while.
For a
He really
while. He stayed in the filth for a minute.
Yeah. Oh, QNTG said, never seen a YA deal with a
I
grief
think by
arc.
the end, though,
Oh, sorry. I definitely agree with that. That was the first thing that struck me with this book was that the way grief was handled and the way that the main character talked about all the things that people say when you lose somebody and how she didn't even want to hear that anymore. And she kind of made this other version of herself, the after Bree. It's one of those really transportative things that I feel like Tracy Deonn does so well because I don't think I've ever really experienced anything that was the same. But I think everyone has dealt with grief enough that as she's describing it, you can understand why Bree feels the way that she does. And it was just really great to see that throughout the book and that it wasn't just like a plot driver. It was actually a very significant part of Bree's character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lois, you were saying something?
You said by the end.
I actually forgot what I was going to say. That's okay. It wasn't important. I did earlier want to say that the good thing about this book is that you don't need to have any knowledge of the legends to do with Arthur to be able to follow it and to, follow the story. So that was a good thing. But the other thing I don't remember, it will come back to me.
Did anybody have a favorite character or a least favorite character they want to talk about?
Least favorite character is Toro or Tori. Tora. Do we know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Victoria, yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
I really liked I was rooting for Sel because I wanted him to be the love interest. My sick, twisted romance mind.
No.
I mean, I felt that. I understand.
So, and then I didn't really like, at first I didn't like Alice, but then, like, obviously she grew on me, but at first I didn't like her.
No,
Really?
I still don't.
Really? I love her.
I feel like
Why don't you like Alice?
Oh, that was me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't like Alice because I just felt like she was a snitch. She kept snitching. And for me, snitchers...
That's a bit harsh.
And then the fight in the beginning, I was like, there's no reason for this. Your friend is grieving. You should be more understanding.
Yeah, so no, I couldn't. Even when she like did good things, in the back of my mind, I was like, she's still a snitch. She's not.
Yeah.
True. I feel like
agree.
I liked her at the beginning for like the first hour and a half, 2 hours or something. Like before anything happened. Like she's fine. Like she's good. Like she's her friend. And then all of a sudden she snitched on things I guess won't spoil. And I was like,
But she didn't just snitch one time and was like, my bad. I'm sorry I did that to you. She continued to be a snake in the grass. She continued to be a snake in the grass. So
every time she was like Alice, and then her dad was like, "Is a good friend." And I was like,
she's a dead friend, is what I would have said. Would have found.
I just like wasn't rooting for her, so.
Yeah, no, I just like by the end, because I think you know what I'm talking about. But like something happened near the end where it kind of like turned around. And I was like, okay, slight redemption. Like I don't hate her or anything like that, but
yeah,
I like her at the end.
Yeah, she was fine, I guess.
Still trash.
I was just indifferent to her character.
That's a better way to say it.
Like she didn't add or take away from the story.
True.
I feel like she was supposed to be like Bree's ties to her regular life, like outside of Legendborn, as something to consider. But I also somewhat feel like maybe she was there to be used in like the third act with what happened with her. And if she hadn't been there, it would have been more difficult for somebody to do something. This
We
is
can
so hard to talk
spoil
about.
now. You can spoil it now.
I also liked Patricia.
Oh yeah,
I
the
thought
therapist.
she was she was really good.
Mhm.
I like that one.
I was like, okay, put mental health in this. The therapist,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
Yes.
I liked that she had like, I mean, it's again like a proof that your author cares and researches the subject, or at least that's the assumption that I have. But I like the fact that it wasn't just a blanket, like, oh, you're going to have PTSD, but it was a very specific kind of diagnosis that she was going to give based on Bree's behavior. And it just seemed like Tracy Deonn actually cared enough to put in that work and like make sure that everything that she was saying came from a real mental health standpoint. It wasn't just blanket mental health.
Can I ask a question?
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Man, it's pretty loaded. Did you ever feel that certain parts of the book and certain characters' actions were predictable?
I definitely thought, well, okay, we'll spoil stuff now. So just as a blanket warning, we're going to start spoiling from this point on. I thought, yes, some things were very predictable, but I didn't mind it so much. I guess some things that I thought were, I mean, the first most predictable thing that sticks in my brain is third act when Nick is like, hey, I have to go talk to my dad. I'll be right back. And then Bree hears a knock at the door and she's like, oh my God, you're back so fast. And I was like, no.
It's not.
This is going to be that guy that was really creepy and he's going to come through and he's going to do something. So I knew something was not going to be good. Go on.
As soon as they were
that
go ahead.
the book before that. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Who am I interrupting?
No, go ahead.
I'm going to say before that scene. Thank you. Before that scene when Nick disappeared at the gala, when Cell set his, what were those demons called? Garuchals or Ezels? I forgot what they were called. And he set them on Brianna. And we're at this point where things are looking so desperate for her. You know, she's just kind of like on the cusp of, you know, getting eaten by one of these demons. And at that precise moment, then she discovers this mage flame that starts swiveling up and she, you know, disposes of the demon. I thought that was very like Deus Ex Machina. Like, it's very typical in these sorts of action shows. They wait until the most dire, most used to describe it. But when the situation looks like it's at its most desperate, that's when the protagonist suddenly pulls out this secret weapon kind of thing.
Yeah. I also, like on a very spoilery front, like I was messaging Darian. We were kind of like messaging back and forth, like, oh my God, Nick. Oh my God, Cell. Oh my God, what's happening? I messaged you something like, what if Arthur calls on Bree? And then I just kept reading and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I figured this was going to happen at some point. I don't know why. I just
really predicted that
at all.
I didn't see that.
The fact that she had like, so she had like blood bending. I don't know. The blood magic. She had root magic. She was a medium. I was like, she's King Arthur too, isn't she? Like, she's just everything all rolled into one. And like, it was fine. I thought that was probably better in some ways than Nick being King Arthur, because when men have too much power in a relationship, I don't like that.
Yeah, I didn't predict that part either, Deidre. This is okay. I think that I'm older than you all, so this is probably really showing my age. There was a part
I didn't predict it either, so you're not that old.
There's a part. There was a part where Zell and Bree was in a room. I don't know. I can't remember if it was his room, and he took off his shirt and she started to notice his body. And right away, I go, "Is this gonna be a Vampire Diary, Stefan and Bree?" Like I was like, "Oh,
It's so funny. So funny you mentioned that.
yeah."
It's so funny you mentioned that. I read that and I got Twilight vibes, like
Yes.
Bella choosing between Edward and what's the other guy's name? I forgot his name.
Jacob.
And
Yes,
then they
because he does the
referenced it.
piggyback thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too.
That made me laugh so hard.
I know. I was thinking that the whole time.
Yeah.
I know. Like Bree and Sel's
Oh, it
relationship
wasn't just me.
No, it wasn't.
because
I
I
wanted
feel like
them to get together so bad because I don't really like Nick.
you don't like Nick at all.
I mean, not a lot.
Okay, I like Sel more than I like Nick. To be
Oh my
honest.
god.
Darian is like under attack at this moment, but I don't know. Like I liked Nick at first because I was like, he's a soft boy. He's nice. He's a nice guy. Like it's nice. And like when Sel was first introduced and he was just this brooding character near a tree, I was like, this is gonna be the love interest. We're gonna have this brooding main character that won't admit that he likes her, and it's gonna be so annoying. But then introducing Nick and having him just like immediately fall for her, I was like, okay, I kind of like this. That like it's nice to have men just immediately show like affection, and it's not creepy or anything like that, but just it's a nice thing. But then Sel kind of started to show that like he was a good person and that he wasn't just a brooding man. I was like, okay, I like him now. And then as more stuff just got revealed, I was like, all right, Nick has a past, but Sel, backstory, okay, come on.
I felt that the description of Nick was not cute to me. I mean, I was like, this dude is still not attractive to me. However, when they started to describe Zell, I said that could be my fictional boo. But I couldn't see it.
Does anyone else feel like with Nick, I was getting like whiplash from how soon they became friends? Like right in the beginning, they start bickering like right from the top, and I was like, okay, wait a minute, didn't we just meet him? I was like, I can already tell what's gonna happen. I know that YA, that's usually what happens, but it was so quick for me. I don't know.
I feel like this is one of the rare, like, I don't know, like rare for me, but like this is one of the only books I've read where I was like, I thought that this couple was going to get together, but maybe this couple's going to get together. Because I don't read enough romance that is actually like a love triangle that I would actually enjoy. But I actually really liked the fact that, like several characters are bisexual and they just briefly mention it. And it's not like a weird, like, have you ever read a book where it kind of like over sexualizes somebody as like, oh, they're bisexual and therefore look how many partners they've had or something like ridiculous and they make it a huge deal. But instead, I don't remember who it was, but there was like another scion in their page and they had just gotten bonded and they were like, oh, how does it feel to be bonded? And it was like, oh, well, we've been dating for a while, but before they used to date Sel. And I was like, oh, and Sel was like, oh yeah, I was in love with Nick. And I was like, yes.
Sel was getting around and living his best life is what it seems.
I think Sel is still in love with Nick. That's my
He might be. I don't know.
I think he is.
Do you think Sel has any feelings for Bree?
Yes.
Like,
He's Damon.
Yes.
He's Damon from the Vampire Diaries. He's Damon.
I was Team Damon.
I think the moment he saw her, I think the moment Sel saw Brianna at the gala, he started to have feelings for her.
Yeah, as soon as he grabbed her by her middle. If I had to hear middle one more time, and I put it was just middle. But he grabbed her by her middle and got to that dance floor and said, "Look here, it's you and me, boo. It's you and me."
And then Nick was just so like jealous for so long that I was like, okay. I mean, like it's I guess, but Nick and Bree weren't technically like official anything yet. They were like very close to being whatever. But he was like always mad. He was always jealous, and I was like, how are we gonna get Bree and Sel together if you will not chill for like 5 minutes? Just I want this to happen.
I also felt like maybe it's because I don't know how to word this. I feel that I wish more books would just go that route of like the polyamorous. like I just don't believe that one person can be everything to you. Like no one person can fill your needs is what I believe. So like I really wish that it would have became like we all in this together kind of situation. I don't know if you guys ever read that book, The Inevitable Victorian Thing. So beautiful. I loved it. It was like she met everybody. I was like, yes, girl. So I really wish that was gonna happen. But
I thought that might have happened in this book. I mean, it's maybe because I read something on Goodreads when I shouldn't have been, but I was like going through some reviews because I was like, do I remember this thing that happened or am I making stuff up? But then I saw someone saying like, I love that there was a bi character and that like the author allowed for like this person to all be together. And I was like, oh, is this polyamorous? Because that would be really cool. I haven't read a book like that before, but
there's some
y'all should read The Inevitable Victorian Thing. I forget who the author is, but I really like that book.
I will write that down. The Inevitable Victorian Thing. All right, no one.
It's funny because I've only read one book with polyamorous rep, and it ended up being the worst book that I've read of the year so far. So I would like to read books with polyamorous rep that are actually good. It wasn't that book; it was a completely different book, but it ended up being like a 1-star read for me, which is sad.
Ooh. That is sad.
Oh no.
The reason I came across that book before I joined BookTube, and I forget.
But I'll have to.
Yeah.
Which book was it that you read that was so bad, Lois?
Yeah, we need answers.
It was called Ascension. It was called Ascension. The author is Jacqueline Koyanagi. I haven't spoken about it before because I don't really like giving negative reviews. But it's this book was a mess.
Yeah, I love giving negative reviews.
Yeah. Oh, please let us know what the books are. Shade Tree reads.
If y'all want some threesomes, read Credence by Penelope Douglas.
One more time for the people in the back.
Credence.
Credence or Prudence?
Credence, like Credence by Penelope Douglas.
If it's trash, I'm sliding in your DM.
You slide in my DM, but I promise you it is so hot. So
I just be looking for that.
That's what I love about Manda.
Amanda will read all.
You can always depend on her for the smutty recommendations.
That's what I'm here for.
I get all of my recommendations from Nicole. From who book is that anyway? I forget I forget her full name on YouTube. I can't find Credence on Goodreads.
I found it. It's Credence
Maybe
by.
I don't know how to spell.
Yeah, I just had it. It's gone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, trees on the cover.
Oh yeah, the 5th season has given us lots of poly wonderful goodness.
Oh really? I didn't know that. Oh, I haven't read this.
Okay. Can somebody write it in the chat, y'all? Because that's I'm not even gonna pretend.
I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna write it just so I receive these messages, because this one person messaged me on Instagram and she was like, oh my god, I'm reading Credence right now, and why does she want to fuck everyone in the house? And I was just dying, and she was like, oh my god, I didn't even know I would like this, but I like it. I was shook.
All right, I've added it to want to read. Now we must check Libby.
This is gonna be the next book. We're not even doing the other book. No. Oh wait, private chat. Okay, yeah.
What?
It's on Kindle Unlimited too.
You know I don't have Kindle Unlimited. I hate ebooks. I hate them. It's either physical or audio. That's it.
Ooh.
Audio is the only way for me.
I ain't gonna lie. It's been that way for months. Although I did do a, what do they call them? Hybrid read. I
I
read,
love doing that.
yeah, I read like the first 150, maybe a little bit over that in the book, and then I listened and read and then listened and.
I did that for Song of Wraiths and Ruin, and it
Oh
was
my
such a good time.
god!
That was a great audiobook.
One of my favorites. I didn't
That's
read
one of
the
my favorites
audiobook.
too. 5 out of 5. So like I was kind of comparing it to this one.
Yes, Song of Wraiths and Ruins. I read that book in a night. I won't lie to you. I was sitting there with my fake glasses on.
Wait,
So good.
I literally was going like, wait, A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. This, like, it's another YA fantasy. And I was thinking like, didn't someone get betrayed at the end? And then
Don't
it
spoil
happened in the book, and I was like, I knew it. Like, someone
Don't spoil it.
It's fine.
Don't spoil it, please.
Oh yeah, Darren, you haven't read it yet, have you?
No.
No, okay, no Asawar spoilers, but just as far as I was like, some things happen in this. Would this happen in this book? It's not the same book, and then it happened.
Come with the Rex, Deidre. What's this?
I have never heard of Rootwork.
Rootwork. Yeah, I think so. And
I
I
don't
read
think
it.
I
I
have.
think maybe there was some of that, but I can't be certain.
Explain.
Like how the magic system was, I think in this one where they like call on
Ancestors.
or nature.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool. I didn't know that was like a common thing in fantasy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was some root work in this book that I love and really need to finish the last chapter, but when I really love a book, Jesus has to come back for me to read the last chapter. It's very hard for me to finish it, which is why I didn't finish Legendborn until a couple hours ago. What is the book that has root work? Daughters of Jubilation by what's her name?
Okay, I'm just adding everything to my to be read.
Of Jubilation. Hold up. By Carolee Cortron. Wonderful. Fantastic. Amazing. Wonderful. Amazing. I don't know.
Stunning, immaculate, never been seen before.
Never been done before. How did that magic system compare to what we saw in Legendborn?
In what?
How did the magic in Daughters of Jubilation, the magic system, how did it compare to this? Was it like basically exactly the same?
It was ancestral.
Okay.
Like it came but it was a different magic system, but it was based on like the root work.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it because if you say too much, you'll spoil it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not recommending this book, but Serpent and Dove also has that.
Serpent and Dove.
Don't read that. Don't do it.
But some people love it, so like I hesitate to say it's bad. It's just like not the greatest, but
It's not good.
You could just say it's bad. It's okay.
I don't even know what that is, so I'm gonna be like,
fine. It's better that way.
I thought it was really cool though with the way that there was like root work and then like root magic and then there was ether. No, not ether.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
it was
Yeah.
ether,
The one where it's like one of them is like stealing power and the other one is borrowing power.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really interesting, but I kind of was confused that they never really explained the whole Knights of the Round Table basically not being as good as they all thought that they were. I don't know if maybe that's just going to be expanded on in a second book, but because Patricia was saying, like, if you're part of this secret society, they might think that they're doing the right thing, but they may like defeat demons, but they're not protectors. They're not good people.
Mm-hmm.
They steal magic and you borrow it. That's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that'll ever continue on and be expanded on. But I thought that was a really interesting way of kind of separating out different types of magic. And then I'm sure a lot of people, probably the Legendborns themselves, didn't even know there was a difference.
Do you think you'll read the second book?
Yeah.
Yes. I am so excited. I need it now.
I feel like I think it ended on a note where
Yeah,
like I'm not necessarily aching to pick up the second book, you know?
Yeah.
But I want it.
Same. Did you guys think that that it was a good idea, or it was good for King Arthur to be inside of Bree? Because I felt like historically, right, King Arthur is male, and if you read the story or seen the TV shows, he's very misogynistic and like you better listen to me type shit. And I think having King Arthur's spirit be inside of Bree kind of calmed down the misogyny a little bit.
Hopefully. But I also found that I think there's going to be a lot of brewing discourse between Bree and Arthur inside of her, because there were a lot of things that happened in the last 3 chapters where she was like, I don't want this. This is not what I want. Arthur was like, you have to kneel to me because I'm your king. And everyone's like, okay. Like, and she's like, no, stop. Like, this is not what I want. And he's like, no, I forget what it is. Like, the line is law.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's definitely going to be a prick, because I watched Merlin. I know who he is. He's not a great person as far as that goes. But I feel like with Bree somewhat being in control, I wouldn't be that surprised if it turned out being more of like a mesh of the two, and he is toned down, like you're saying. But I think that is going to be interesting to see in the second book for sure.
Yeah. I do want to talk about Victoria, bitch ass. I'll say it. I had enough of her, especially when it was like towards the end when she tried to pay like not, how do I word it? She tried to say like slavery was an accident, like it was.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, listen, if she was out on them streets, I just, I don't know how you guys felt about that. Just the history of how Bree got to be a part, or got the King Arthur line inside of her, was just super messed up.
Yeah. I almost wish that we had gotten that a little bit earlier in the book, because I feel like it came like 3 or 4 chapters from the end, or I don't know, 4 or 5 chapters or something like that from the end, and all of a sudden it was like this is kind of like a lot to process in general. And it's a very horrific thing, and I always kind of feel like it's more shocking to me when an author is able to convey something as horrible as rape and sexual assault in like a single line, and then move on from there, because it sort of speaks to the way that like other people sort of brush it aside, but it's obviously going to stick with the person forever. So when they just sum it up without even saying it and then move on, I feel like that always hits me way harder personally. And then, I mean, she sort of just has to live with that and then go straight into battle. So I feel like that's also a huge thing for her to have to process and then move on from. And then for King Arthur to just be like, all right, Neil, I'm your king. And her to be like, I am processing all that right now. And like, now you're in me. I don't know if I like that.
I think that was my only critique too, just that transition, because her grandmother was able to find the spirits to help her. And then what was her name? Penelope? Or no, Patricia. No, the woman inside Vera.
Vera,
yeah, Vera.
Vera. So Vera was like, I can't tell you this part of the story. I'll just have to bring it to you, or something like that. And then she just quickly, in the next breath, became King Arthur. And I was like, this transition just not fitting right with me and my spirit of spirits. I need more information. Then for her to gather with these other people, and they're looking in the history books to figure out who she is. But I would have liked more of like her living out the story, or like being a watcher like she was with other stories of her origin. I don't know if that makes sense.
I feel like maybe if she had gotten snippets of the story and then it sort of revealed itself near the end, that would have been more powerful. Or at least we would have been able to sit with it longer and understand instead of throwing it at us at once. I don't know if I really dislike it per se, but it definitely did feel like everything happened in that like period of time. Because first of all, the betrayal happened. And I was like, who is this? Like, who is Evan? Who is that? Because I thought there was somebody named Evan, and then there was someone else who was named like Evans. So I got confused of like, who is this? I realized he must have been like one of the pages or whatever, but that happened, and then like everything else happened so quickly after that, and I kind of almost wish that the entire story had been like shifted back a few chapters and expanded on wider, because I feel like the first half of the book had content, but it was dragged out way more than the second half.
Yeah.
Because
I would agree with that. I felt like sorry.
Oh no, go on. Go ahead.
I was just agreeing with what you said. That's one of the problems that I had with this book, was that it just felt a bit too action packed. I felt like things were happening so quickly that certain characters and events didn't get the development that I felt was needed, because the whole thing just felt very frenetic. And then you've got like this super fast moving plot where everything's happening and then just happening. And then you have this very exposition heavy plot where we're constantly having things explained to us. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like a complex magic system, but I just think that it was a bit too complex to the point where there was so much exposition and it could have just been like spread out a bit more. That's why I give it like an average rating. So yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, I find myself sometimes wishing there was just like a glossary of, or just like a list of information that I could refer back to sometimes, because especially where there are different types of magic and we sort of just come across like a medium who's like, oh yeah, I could talk to dead people. And you're like, okay, so what kind of magic is that? It just kind of seems like there's so many different branches of this that maybe we don't even know about inside of just this book that could exist out there. And I almost sort of wish that had been laid out visually or something in the book, and not, I don't know, just like thrown out very quickly. I also want to talk about this comment here. So I believe it's a commentary on how Black people have to move in predominantly white spaces. Yes.
True.
The way that the Legendborns were a predominantly white society, and then Bree shows up and they're like, no, like instantly, no. And I actually was a little bit surprised she didn't get more pushback, because I feel like she was able to somewhat get by because Nick was just like, yeah, she's my page, so like let it go. But it did feel like a lot of people were constantly like against her, but I almost was surprised that she was allowed to continue on with this program, considering how racist I figured that they were going to be. But I thought that like a lot of that was more of like the quiet ways that are not outrageous, where you would say, oh, that's racist, but it's more of like the quiet racism where you're like, there's a reason that there's only white people here for the most part. There's a reason that a lot of the servers at the gala, almost every single person was Black. There's a reason for that. And it was like, okay. I felt like that was a way to sort of express this without throwing it in your face, because you don't have to look that hard to see it.
Yeah, I liked how she added the part where like the hair thing, where like the people were touching her hair, and she's like, "Will you please just like stop? I'm not like a fucking doll to like pet or something."
That is something I hate the most. Like, I went to 2 predominantly white institutions for my undergraduate and my master's. Probably gonna go to another white one for my PhD, but here we are. But the touching of the hair, like, what? Am I your dog? I was like rooting for that whole part. I was ready for a brawl to happen. I don't know why that I'm reading a lot of the YA fantasy I've been reading. I keep being ready for a brawl, like just ready for something to happen. It never does, I guess, whatever. But I was ready for the brawl at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think a lot of, if not all, Black women will have some experience with unwarranted touching of hair. I have an experience. Just very quickly, there was a woman who I used to know, and she used to touch my hair every time for me. At first, it was like, okay, it's she means it in a nice way. It's endearing. It's meant to be endearing. It's all lovely. And then after a while, I was like, okay, stop.
Yeah.
No. There's only one white person in this whole world that can touch my hair. And she so happens to be my best friend, but not because she's my best friend. I've been sick a few times and I needed my hair washed, and she was the only one around. And I was like, Sarah, you got to get up in here. So now she's really good. She's really good at doing my hair for me. But anybody, and she doesn't like just come up and touch my hair. I asked her, Sarah, do you want to help me wash my hair, which is a journey? And she helps me. So it's the random petting. It's just, I just felt that really deep in my spirit. Like disgusted by it.
I'm not sure what this comment is in reference to, but I also feel like this was maybe a person who came to your live, Darian.
Yeah. And they just said a random book name. Are you just recommending books to people?
Maybe.
Thank you, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is a great point. It's almost like gaslighting the entire situation where it's like, should I be mad about this or not?
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like that it happens all the time. And because so often people don't even want to think about race, they just go like, it's not a big deal. Or like, oh, they weren't trying to be racist. Then everyone just tries to brush it under the rug. And it makes you wonder, am I allowed to be offended by this or not? And like, I have very rarely experienced racist remarks. It's usually people telling me I am exotic or what are you? But still, it's weird. It's weird. It doesn't need to happen.
Yeah, gaslighting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also really liked the fact that I think near the end of the book, right before the gala, I want to say, again, I read this book near the end so fast, so correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a part where Bree was saying that she like did her hair and it was like this very relaxing thing to actually like take the time out, and it was like self-care for her to do the relaxers, the conditioning, and then like watch a movie and paint her nails and everything. But I feel like that's a much more important sort of, or maybe not important, but like it's a different thing. It's an actual self-care act to do that. And I appreciate that like things like that were put in there. And it wasn't something that like anybody in publishing was like, oh, you can't say something like this, which I don't know if that's what would happen, but I just appreciate that stuff is more front and center for us to witness for Bree.
That's so funny, because for me, washing my hair isn't self-care at all. I dread it because I know that I'm going to have to dry it.
Speak the truth. I need you to speak the truth, okay? Say it a little bit louder for the people in the back. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I was like, man, I gotta wash my hair because I have this scalp condition called seborrheic or dermatitis, something like that. And it just causes splits hurt. Like my scalp splits and bleeds, and it's not good. So I have to be careful and wash my hair quite often. However, I have locks, which means that if I wash it, that means I must retwist it. And it's just a whole journey. So I was washing my hair and it felt so good. I was like, yes, get that scalp. And then I got really sad. I was like, damn, I gotta retwist and dry this shit. Like, I'm just so mad about it. So then I'm just sitting under the dryer, just pissed. And my roommate's like, you still underneath there? I'm like, yep, yep, still here. So, shit. But yeah, I mean, I guess doing your toenails is self-care.
It takes long, doesn't it?
What'd you say?
Oh, Lois, you're kind of frozen.
It takes long. It's a whole process, isn't it?
We're not like we know, but we're just solidarity.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I usually have a loctician that I go to, but I haven't been home in a while. # COVID-19. So I've been having to do my hair on my own, which is fine. I've been doing locks since I was 13 years old. It's totally fine for me to do my hair. However, I've been like, no, you are an adult. Adult is what I call people over 30. So I'm like, you're an adult, you need to just pay people to do your hair. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah, I feel that. Ashley. I love washing because it's so relaxing, but retwisting is hell. It is. It is. I have 170 locks.
Even just drying it as hell. Like with me, sorry, with just so you can be prepared with Black women, we can just so you know. But I'm Bree, do you know about transitioning your hair?
Transitioning, I did that
when it's
too
been
for a
relaxed.
couple years. Yeah, I did that for a couple years.
I'm in that stage now.
Oh my God,
I'm in
I
that
pray
stage
for
now,
you.
and it's hell. Like
I pray
I
for
hate
you.
it.
Yeah, I'm sending all the good vibes to you. I will tell you though, I was so pissed off about my transitioning hair that I
Thank you.
cut it. I was like, big chop. That's where we live now. So I snipped because I couldn't do it. Trying to manipulate perm, relaxed
Do you know what?
hair.
I am thinking about it.
I support it. I support it 100%. For real. Because who has time trying to figure out the transitional hair, the permed hair, and then your natural coils? Like, no, absolutely not.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking about it. I asked my boyfriend, who you might be able to see, I asked him to cut it for me. So we'll see. We'll see if I actually follow through, because transitioning is just, yeah, it's a difficult process.
Yeah, yeah. I get that, Ashley. It was a mental and emotional journey. It is, because I feel like before I started transitioning, I thought my natural hair pattern was absolutely horrible. I, like many other Black women, subscribe to that when it's straight, it's great kind of situation, that good hair type of situation where the longer my hair is, that's how more, that's an, what is it? An attribute to my beauty. And that I needed long hair and long braids and all of that to feel pretty. And then I was like, forget this. And then I shaved my hair off, like, I mean, to the scalp, shaved it off. And
Wow.
it's like, oh no,
My
I'm
goodness.
out here looking like a man. And so it was like this whole situation, because Black American women, we get told all the time that our hair is our glory. And I was like, this isn't glory. This is trash. Like, this isn't, no, this is not okay. And then I started growing my hair out, and then I was doing the natural fro for a couple years, and twist outs and all those different, styles and creams, living my life. And then I got locks, and my hair was throwing up the gang signs in the beginning stages of the locks. So I was like, I got to cover these. It was just a whole emotional thing of being like, am I pretty? Am I not? Am I pretty? Am I not? Do I look good or I'm not? So it's like this whole thing. But now I feel like I'm the baddest to have ever lived.
Pull it off every way.
Huh?
You can pull it off anyway.
Yeah, so now I'm like, forever cute. And I mean me. So, but it took some time. I'm like reading Ashley comments. Oh, as you should. As you should.
I hate to cut.
Huh?
I hate to cut in, but we have 6 minutes left of the live. So y'all want to talk about the book?
Lois was right. We will talk about our hair.
Well, I did warn you guys. We can talk about hair, or we can talk about Afro hair all day.
I would never stop you. I would never.
But I'll let you. I'll let you carry on.
I mean, I don't have like any specific talking points, but does anyone want to like discuss anything else about the book in particular?
I liked how it was fast paced. And like that's what kept me reading so fast, because I started at noon and I finished it at 5 or whatever. And I don't know, it kept me
Wait,
going.
you
But
finished the whole book, noon to 5?
yeah.
Oh my god, what?
Wow.
I'm sorry. This is a 19-hour audiobook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I finished it. My boyfriend was like, "You're already almost halfway through that?" I was like, "Yeah, it's zoomy."
Oh my god.
But
You're really
so
fast.
I mean, it was so fast for me because it was really action packed. But I also found, just like Lois, that it was lacking in like that substance, especially in the beginning. I was like, wow, we're really going straight in. Like, we're not getting any like way to care about the characters. I felt like when grief is involved in books, I always like to really care, and like I like to feel that pain in my chest. But I couldn't feel that for her because of the way that it was like just right done in the beginning. I think towards the end I might have felt more, but yeah, I think it could have been done where like you could have had that emotional connection just if you would have done a little bit more with the beginning.
I had the emotional connection.
Nick.
Well, okay, I love Nick, but I felt for everybody, and like I hated Sel at the beginning, but I love him so much now.
I feel like
I
it was
agree. I also really like Nick.
for me. I feel like the only reason it wasn't too fast for me was because I like started reading the book
Yeah.
way earlier in the week and I stopped, and then I kept going yesterday and today.
See, that
So-
could have also been affected. Because like obviously I was reading it all. So
Yeah, I don't know how
Just
you
going
read
back
books.
to that question, someone asked. Sorry,
if it
just going back to that question. Someone asked, "Do you think the long?"
Yeah.
I think it was. I feel like it could have been. That book could have been 2 books, and then we would have gotten more development out of the
Yeah.
first part of the story.
I wrote that in my Goodreads this morning.
This was kind of a big
Yeah.
book. I was very surprised this was like 530 something pages or something like that. I mean, again, audio, but like 19 hours, that's an audiobook. That's huge. That's a lot. But the thing is, I don't pick up a lot of sequels very often, so I don't know if I would have immediately picked up the next book unless we had kind of gotten a lot of that content and information. But then again, if it had been developed more, you never know. But I also kind of feel like
Sorry,
yes.
sorry, Rach. I'm laughing
Yes,
at you.
3 sums, then
Yes.
some.
But I had that emotional connection with Bree, I think, because like her discussion of grief at the beginning felt like very real. And by the time that we got around to when her mother was talking to her through her past self, that really hit me. Like,
I got a little emotional, for sure.
yeah.
I felt that right there is where the book could have ended. I also felt like when she was like, I gotta get out of here. I've had enough. I'm gone. Bye. And she was going through that, you know, the Twilight thing of when she's just watching and the days is going by, going through the movements. You don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I felt like at that point, the book could have stopped there too and picked up in a very beautiful manner. And in both of those times, I looked at my audiobook and I was like, oh, I'm at the end. No, it was more.
Yeah, that cliffhanger ending wasn't here for it, I'm afraid.
I don't think it was much of a cliffhanger because I think like the only thing really remaining that the book actually was interested in continuing to talk about was the fact that she needed to pick a mage. And she was like, oh, can't you just be my mage? And he was like, no. And she was like, I'll fly into the sky. Okay.
Not to compare it to
that's a
Song of Wraiths and Ruin, but when I tell you I sobbed my eyes out at Song of Wraiths and Ruin, so I know it's not me like not being me being a ginger soulless person. No. I just like, I don't know, the way that one was just so emotional for me. So then this one, comparing the two, naturally I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know how the author did that with Song of Wraiths and Ruin.
But I think that was also, you really like the anxiety rep in Asawar too.
It's definitely personal. Yeah, I think it's something where like I had a more personal thing with that one because grief isn't as much of an impact on me as panic. So,
Yeah. I think it's like I have a very big fear of losing my parents, so it was very easy for me to like connect to that. Not that anybody else has any less or more, but I just felt like that was so easy for me to get into that headspace because I think of that very often. So, Asawar was a big disappointment.
Oh no.
Oh.
I feel like the books that I love, Ashley is always like, meh.
That's how Darian feels about me.
Yeah, it'd be like that. Sometimes it's a hit or miss for people, you know?
Yeah.
But I will say, A Song of Wrath and Ruins, I think 150 pages could have been taken out. Some stuff was just dragging on here. And I was just like, we didn't need all this. And the martyr complex between the two main characters was insufferable. I was like, how much guilt and sorrow can go into one human being? Jesus. So yeah, it was.
It was a bit intense, wasn't it? It was a bit intense, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We're trying not to spoil for Darian though.
I don't know.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is, as cliche as the big reveal was when it came to light that Bree was the chosen one, or messianic and all of that stuff, I feel like that was important for the story. It sent a very important message in terms of depicting not just Black people, but also women in like a heroic role. So it was cliched, but it was relevant. So I could appreciate it.
I loved it.
I feel like there was something near the end where somebody said something like, oh, we've never had like a woman, or no, maybe that was Davis who was saying something like, we've been taught for the longest time that the soldiers are supposed to protect women, and now women are fighting alongside them, and it's not right. But I feel like the unspoken words were like, we're only supposed to have white guys in here, so why are you here?
Yeah.
Like,
I already saw Davis as an ancient mug. I saw it. I just could not trust him. Day one, I was like, there is something about him that's really not sitting right in my spirit. So when we got to the end, I was like, well.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, like, Nick had to constantly go places with his dad and, like, oh my god, all these things keep opening up. I was like, something going on here. Something going on here. There's always somebody who is, like, the twist betrayal person or something like that. I was surprised we got as many, like, twist betrayal kind of things that we did, but I was still like, it's got to be, like, some old white man in power. It's got to be. It's probably Davis.
Always.
Not wrong. Not wrong at all.
But I was surprised he wasn't like the big bad, I guess you would say. So
yeah, but now I feel like he is. I feel like he might be the right hand man to Morgana.
Maybe, but I guess Morgana still ends up being, well, okay. Is Morgana the same as King Arthur, where like she can be called upon for power?
That is something I don't know.
I don't think that was ever talked about, if I remember correctly. But Morgana, at least according to Arthurian legend, according to Merlin, I thought that she was also like this very powerful mage type person. So I don't know if like she is the source of all this. I forget what they're called already, but the bad guys, the
Ether, no, Shadow, no,
yeah, Shadow.
Yeah, I was like, Shadow, nah, that ain't it.
Yeah.
Just going through all the list, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with you, Rachel, when you were talking about, what'd you say, the glossary or something?
Yeah, I wish there was like something in the back to just tell me what was going on.
Not to harp on. I'm sorry, someone was talking.
I was gonna say I was so confused during so many parts, but I was like, I just know this is good, so it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you have read Ray Bear by Jordan Fueco.
Not yet, no.
My God, my God. Masterpiece.
I've heard of it, but
I-
no.
You said no, Lois?
She said no. I think she's
Oh.
frozen.
Oh, okay. I feel that when you have
Am I frozen again? Oh no.
Oh no.
I think it might be like slightly delayed, but I think you're back.
Yeah. So that book, I think a lot of authors should read that book, because I thought the way that the characters were set up, their histories were set up, the world was set up, was beautifully timed. It was not rushed. It was just unbelievable. Like, I've never seen so many moving parts happen in such a seamless way and don't leave you confused. Because that's what I don't like about high fantasy, is that I just be like, so, oh, what what's happening here? But with Ray Bear, it was just goddamn. I mean, y'all, I don't even know where to start. It was beautiful, and
You're selling me.
nothing was rushed, y'all. Nothing was rushed. So I'm ready. I need her to write 8 books in this series and stop messing around with us. But she put on Twitter that she just turned in the manuscript for book 2. So I'm ready.
Oh, wait, was Ray Bear her debut novel?
Yes, it was awesome.
I
Maybe
gotta
it was
read it.
awesome because she started writing it when she was 13, but I don't care. It was great.
Damn.
It was great.
There's another one with a similar cover that I'm also eyeing. What's it called? Labzonia?
Oh yeah, La Bisonia. Yeah.
Oh.
I love that one. It's a series too.
That one's good. Okay.
That one, the pace in that book was good too.
I need to go get those.
The only thing I didn't like about it, it was just constantly talking about Harry Potter, so I felt triggered. But the pace was good.
I do wish authors would kind of like avoid too much pop culture reference. The problem is that every person that's involved in pop culture could come out as problematic any day. So you gotta be careful with what you're referencing in your books. That's all. But I don't think there were any in Legendborn. I don't think. Or else maybe
from Twilight, but they didn't even say what they were referencing. But we all knew.
It was Twilight. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone have any final thoughts? We're coming around a little past an hour, but that's okay. Any final thoughts? Would you recommend the book? Or are you like, yeah, I won't really remember this in a month? What do you think?
I would recommend it. It wasn't the best, but I would still recommend it.
Okay.
I would recommend it. This is probably gonna be in like my top 10 books of the year. I really loved it.
High praise indeed.
Yes. Is there any characters that you felt that you could have gotten more information from?
Maybe from William. I would have liked to have learned more about William's backstory. He was one of those endearing characters.
Yeah.
Go on.
Maybe
go
the
on.
bad guy, that one guy that like
Evan,
confronted
whoever that
her.
was.
No, the other one. Vaughn.
Isaac.
Vaughn.
Oh, Vaughn.
Vaughn.
I don't care
Wait.
about.
Wait, who is Vaughn?
He's the guy
that
and
confronted her in the beginning.
Yeah.
When then she told him off.
And they fought in the arena, and then she beat him, and then he hit her behind her back. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He was salty.
I don't need to know more about it.
I want more scenes with Dad.
Yeah. I feel like we very rarely got to see him doing things other than just like being a more difficult parent, like a good cop, bad cop. Hate to use that term, but like for him to just have to be like, all right, well, your friend said we were doing this, so here, I have to punish you by doing this and this and this. And I would have liked to see more of that like heartfelt relationship in some way, but like a little bit before we had gotten the whole threat of, hey, I can basically hypnotize your dad into forgetting it, like you and everything else, which I feel like is pretty devastating. Also the fact, okay, I know this isn't the biggest deal, but Isaac took away, I literally forgot her name, the roommate's like 2 weeks. Alice, yeah. He took away 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's terrible, first of all. But second of all, if you were in college, in a pre-college program, and someone takes 2 weeks of your
That's
college
so
away,
much information.
so much to be gone for. That's already a threat. Stop. Like, you don't even have to talk about, like, the relationship between, this is a lot. No.
Ashley, I was just about to mention that. So the reason why I love Dad is because it's not often in my Black community that Black men are being proponents of mental health at all. So when Dad was like, listen, baby girl, you're going to see a therapist, I was like, come with it, Dad. Let her know. Come with the mental health. So the fact that it was brought up a couple times, I really appreciated that. And I talked earlier about the mental health thing too. That really stuck out to me when Dad was like, you're going to go see a therapist. I was like, yes, constantly. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was really great. I don't know though, like, he said you're going to see this therapist, and the therapist just happened to be a root worker. Already forgot the name of everything in the magic system, but like, she just happened to have all the
That
magical
was
powers.
convenient, wasn't it?
It was a bit convenient. I don't know how that arranged itself. If she was like, I heard that this one was actually is the descendant of Arthur. I'm going to go be her therapist. I don't know. I just felt like that was a little bit lined up a little bit too well. But at the same time, I didn't really want it to drag out that much more.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. It's like there are flaws in the story, but I'm okay with it. That's like my.
I actually had a different take on that. I thought, to me, it made sense. Like, if your mother went to this school, and like, for example, where I work at, the school I work at is also my alma mater. And several of my classmates work here. Like, and we graduated like 8 years ago. So for me, I was thinking like, oh yeah, that makes sense that you would know someone. Like, someone would be tied to you in that way. So that's what I was thinking. I don't know if that made sense.
Is there any like, I don't know, like patient doctor confidentiality breach by like seeing a therapist who is like a family friend or something like that? Would that be
it's an ethic thing? It could be a violation of dual relationship. Some people can call it unethical, but you can also argue that nothing was really what is it called? Like, some people can view Patricia's role as unethical. I didn't, because it seemed like she vaguely knew her mom, like just kind of sort of knew of her. And mom wasn't alive anymore. So she couldn't, like, she wouldn't be put in a position where she had to like be affronted by mom or talk to mom. So for me, it didn't raise too many unethical flags, but it can be, someone could argue and be like, this is a violation of dual relationships.
Okay, fair enough. So, I wondered if it was.
No, I don't think so, because no, I don't think so, because there was no prior relationship between Patricia and Bree, so there's no conflict of interest. If like Bree was saying, if her mum was still around, then it would present a conflict of interest. So I don't think that it's unethical in any way.
Yeah, I was thinking that you think of as the dual relationship. That's it.
Yeah. I was wondering if maybe because Patricia knew Bree's mother, that she would be more likely to talk to her because she wanted information about her mother, that may have been a bond that was actually more beneficial to her therapy.
And the fact that she was a Black woman, which the dad pointed out, and which she pointed out, and how easy it was to speak to someone who looks like you. I mean, I hear that all the time, even for myself. Well, my therapist is a white woman, but I'm sure I would have a different relationship if my therapist was a Black woman.
Yeah. I think it was also cool that, I guess, like, the way that we got to see root magic for the first time was through her therapist. I can't really like put my finger on why that really worked for me, but I just felt like it was a really great way to introduce it versus any other character bringing that forward.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we did that comment before.
I was sad though when Patricia was like, I'm gonna head out. And I was like, some. I wanted more from you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think she was actually going to head out though. I thought she was gonna like stick around for a little while. She was just
out.
Yeah.
I hope she comes back. Okay, she's not dead.
yeah.
Well, maybe she's gonna make a reappearance.
I also really liked that after Bree remained something to be broken down, and once it was, she was able to kind of access a new part of her magic. Because it kind of seemed like she spent so much of her energy combating grief that she never really was able to break down in therapy, unfortunately, but it was more so because she was fighting, like not really wanting to get better, but accepting like, oh, after Bree is just another part of me that I'll turn on and off when I need it. And rather than actually coming to terms with what happened. So I thought that was such a good conversation to say, like, the reason that your mother is gone isn't the same reason why she's dead or something like that.
Yeah. But I think
Yes, excellent point.
Yeah. I think after Bree was a copinism. What is it called? A copinism?
Coping mechanism?
Coping mechanism.
Why would I combine both words? Cognitive slip. My God. It was I think after Bree was a coping mechanism used for her to compartmentalize her grief, right? She didn't really get the opportunity to, and I thought a lot of times in the book, there wasn't any space really for her to grieve. Even in her sessions, she was constantly worried about what happened to her mom. Alice was not any help. I don't care what y'all say. She was not any help at all. Her dad was like, I need to put my foot down. So it was just like she didn't really have space to really grieve for what happened to her mom. And any type of emotion that came to her or she felt that was overwhelming, that fight, flight, and reaction was caused in her, and she was like, I'm literally going to leave. Like, she will find a way out of it. So I was like, this is interesting. And yes, I had a therapist hat on at that time, but I don't know. I just was picking up some stuff.
Yeah. All right. So we're coming around an hour and 17. Does anyone have anything else to, I mean, like, we can go as long as you guys want. That's totally fine. But
Lewis was saying something.
There's just one thing I want to add that just came to me. I like how by the end, it was like the gender roles were reversed, and now Nick is a damsel in distress in need of saving. And I think that the second book is going to pick up on that. But yeah, he's the one that's been captured by, who was it, David, Az, or whoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of impact of women, because now Bree has to go and save her lover, go and save Nick. So yeah, that was nice. That's a bit of praise I can give the book.
the small amount that we're willing to give.
I feel that Nick I don't know if this is gonna happen, but at first I didn't think that Tracy had the ability to kill off her characters, only just to bring them to the brink of death. Into those last couple chapters, it was like every other word a character was dead.
Yeah.
So, all right, they're done. They're done. They're done. So I feel like maybe Nick is not going to be able to really handle what's happening to him, and might fall on the team of his father, and they might convince him to be evil. So I don't know. That's just something I was thinking of. Like, she's like caring about this guy who is probably going to turn against her, because I was paying attention to his jealousy and it didn't seem that great. So the last thing he saw, huh?
I love that idea.
Yeah. So the last thing he saw was him seeing Zell and Bree together. So I feel like that might his father might manipulate that, and use that against him. And I just feel like Nick is not going to be this heartthrob that I'm thinking of in book 2, even though I said I didn't think he was attractive based on his description.
That's an interesting prediction.
I feel like that's so good because it means that we approached book 1 with the assumption that Nick was the descendant of King Arthur, which means that he's a good guy. And then Sel was part demon, so he was a bad guy. And by the end of the book, Sel has proven that he's not, whatever you think a demon is, but he's a good person. And he's, I also felt for him when he was saying, like, I am combating the good and bad parts of me all the time. Because if I think it was like, if you break Merlin's vow, like if you break your oath, then he would basically dust, like he would die. And so if the order said, hey, we're going to replace you with somebody else, he wouldn't be under their protection or anything anymore, and he would basically just completely die. So he's only really bound to Nick. Partially, he had feelings for him, but also I think because he almost didn't even have a choice in so many different ways. So I think that made him so much more of an interesting character, and then it expanded upon this whole demon side of him that first of all, it's not like it was his fault, but secondly, we get to see him in a more positive light, and then to see Nick's fall to darkness completely reverse everything. So I think that would be really cool to see in the second book. I would love that. I always love seeing people get corrupted and other people getting redeemed. I like Darian is in pain, but I love that.
That would break my heart.
I'm kind of tempted to read the second book.
What was that, Lois? You kind of like cut out a little bit.
I'm kind of tempted to read the second book now with all these predictions. If it's going to go that way, then I'm like, maybe I will read it.
Ashley, we have no idea what's going on with these random recs. We have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
I do not know.
Let's all just write them down.
Lois. I think it's a new way to troll. It's called book recommendations 1-on-1.
Is this maybe it's self-promoing? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I know we're to the end. I do want to say thank you guys for inviting me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Y'all carried the
Thank
whole
you very much, girls.
Sorry, I was talking a lot. I'm a Gemini.
No, don't be worried.
Oh my god, Geminis are my favorite sign.
Gemini sun, Cancer moon. I'm emotional.
My two best friends are Gemini.
Okay.
I'm just saying. My real life bestest friends are Geminis.
Yep. I think I have more of that Gemini stuff because my dad's a Gemini and my brother's a Gemini, and we just feed off each other.
Damn.
They be crazy though.
Yeah. I don't think I'm crazy.
Okay.
I will say this because my moon is in Cancer, because I believe in this. I think the older I become, the more of my Cancer I move into. I'm becoming very isolated in a way the older I get.
Is that a Cancer thing? I thought Cancers are very emotional, but I don't know anything else.
Emotional and isolated.
Emotional, yeah.
Well, please don't be isolated because we were very happy to have you on the channel. I loved all the thoughts everybody had today. I think this is I always love doing lives anyway. I think it's just fun to like bounce ideas off of each other, but I also really love when we get to do book 2 predictions and think like, where could we go from here? Because there's just so many possibilities we won't know until it comes out, but I think that'd be great.
I'm like Lois. I'm ready for book 2 now because I'm like, oh, what if these things happen?
But this book came out,
Yeah.
October, I think, or something?
Damn,
September.
we got a whole year.
Yeah, we got ways to go. But
well, yeah. Let's hope Rona is over by that time.
Let's hope. I will go to the store and buy book 2 next time.
Yeah.
But if no one has anything else, then I think we can wrap up for today. Yeah, we're all good?
I think so.
All good. Thanks, girls.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for
We
coming.
just briefly want to mention that, first of all, thank you very much to our guests, Bree and Lois. Thank you so much for coming. And I also want to quickly announce that we're going to do our December live show on Sasha's channel. Sasha unfortunately could not make it to today's live show, but she, another one of the Whiners original hosts, who will be doing, I think it's The Afterlife of Holly Chase is our book pick for December. So I don't know that much about it. I think it's kind of like Ebenezer Scroogey, but for somebody named Holly Chase, who I think gets warned by these ghosts and decides, I don't care, and continues to be a bad person. So I'm interested to see what that's going to be, but that's going to be over on Sasha's channel. We will announce the date and the time over on the Whiners Twitter and Instagram, which you can also follow. All that stuff is in the description, as well as all of our hosts' channels. So definitely check out all of these lovely ladies. They have excellent content. I can guarantee it. And thank you so much again for joining us.
Anytime. Thank you.
Night, girls.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.